the server to qualify for the showdown. You need him to step up, and you need him to be that high performer that he knows he can be.
Well, we're into the server against the best team of the world. We'll have to see how GODSENT fares. They, of course, do get the advantage of starting over on the CT side, but, I mean, at this point, Heroic is no stranger to starting on T, considering how often they pick this map.
Good bit of outside control to start. The flash as well. Farlig, 1 for 1. They're actually doing a bit of team damage, and, well, that's going to make it easier for Zen. He's actually gunning them down from heaven. These long-range angles, he'll wait for his teammates to come through, and they still haven't collapsed on this site. The bombs dropped out in the open as well, but still even in the trades. Ooh, down, now just out to Madden, and he's descending. Oh, this is very awkward.
He switched out his USB, but he can't get it done. And GODSENT, while they're in the 3v2 advantage, they're getting too overzealous to actually get and down onto the side itself. Instead of trying to contest from a slightly more favorable position, when they drop down, it's easy picking for niko. There's no easy way to double peek him because the player up in heaven is low HP himself. Martin's not feeling all too secure. An advantageous position given up by them in that situation. Now, though, Heroic, much faster paced play, directly to drop a player down into vents. It's niko to make his way down. And the CTs, they've gone for the force buy, but I think they may be losing quite a bit of control because of this if they want to rotate players back to niko.
Ooh, good reaction here from GODSENT, though. Pushing in towards lobby, they find a pick on Stown. And sure, niko has this lower activation. They should understand that that's a possibility. They would have heard the sound cue, unless players are talking over what they should be able to hear. You can see Heroic have kind of changed their plan up. They were setting up for outside smokes, but now they've re-aggressed lobby to make sure that that's not an angle they have to worry about into the late round. And I think a lot of it will hinge on niko here. Whether he dives up the vent to help clear out door or tries to distract them in any way.
Zen also has a 5-7 when he's playing from the angle that he is, and that makes it really tricky to walk out of the door, but Caden's able to do it. He takes him down. Martin peeks out, but Tessis is ready. With this, it should be an easy enough round. Borup as well with the Mac 10. Misses a few shots, and that gives Farlig an opportunity to get away with a kill. Caden's down already, and both Farlig and niko can back off and save these weapons. Now, Zen, of course, was the pivotal point of that overall CT setup. He needed to find that first kill, and as niko tries to aggress on his own, he will not be able to get much. Farlig backs off, and he'll save the scout for another round. Now, again, just the initial contact made by Caden over there, I think that's really what wins him the round. Tessis then comes through and finishes it. Modern, really nicely done at the end of the day by Heroic to recover.
Yeah, I actually wonder if we were able to look primarily at Zen's position, whether niko would have made a sound cue on the ladder just to pull the aim away for a split second, whether that's something that Heroic may have explored. Always a big fan of the small details. And, well, that's not a minor one. Farlig losing the scout. The money for GODSENT, of course, is absent, so bringing that over would have been a nice little benefit, but Heroic recognized that nice and early. 6-0 start for niko, only in 2 rounds.
Modern and niko both buy up a deagle. Farlig going for the 5-7, I really dislike that, actually. He'll have enough money for the op in the next round regardless, but utility will be a bit more dry, and as a result of that, he'll have to get aggressive to compensate. Farlig on nuke CT side is actually a very good oppa, so I'll say this, that he can make it work, but it's not ideal to say the least. It does limit your options somewhat when your entire team's money is already strained as it is. Now, Crystal dodges an A, dodges the flash, rotates over, and he'll be playing a bit of a crossfire with niko, but Heroic right now have to be careful about Zen, who's coming in from behind, and Zen with the USB comes in with a kill, but no more.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be too many real surprises outside of that one. If Zen had found 2 kills, maybe there was a chance, but all onus on niko now if they want to turn this round on its head, and, well, because he's lost Crystal, even more so.
niko's been left behind to safeguard the weapon, and niko's quite low, so niko, if he's checking all of his corners, if he's doing everything right, nodding his eyes, crossing his T's, all that good stuff.
There's some really annoying angles you have to clear out, though, if you're going to go this way. That's true, actually.
There's, like, these really thin ones as well, from the side of truck and everything. It's super frustrating.
Nah, niko's dead, 100% surely.
Nah, maybe. I don't know about that, though. Maybe he checks this, because niko's going a little bit wider now. He will get 1 kill, but that's... Okay, not quite on the player we thought he would.
Yeah.
But Still, an additional kill always nice to have when he's putting that $700 investment. Pops him right over that 5k mark. He can actually buy a Molotov now as well, which wouldn't have been there otherwise. So that's actually fairly impactful.
Disgusting behavior from niko, baiting for his 8th kill. But a nice 3-0 start for Heroic as GODSENT answer back. Of course, we talked about Farlig on the AWP. He, of course, will be missing out on a kit, something that the entire GODSENT roster is missing out on. So if it ends up in a post plant, they'll have to go rather quickly. Look at all this pressure being applied by niko. This is actually something that niko on Faze used to like to do as well. Solo himself, Farlig pressured over at ramp, and he's going to be forced back.
Zen has at least found the kill onto niko, who's already low. So Zen, who's proceeded forward to the secret area himself, will take him down. But look at how Borup's trying to proceed. They've gone for the reverse outside control, where they go from hell instead. And Zen gets another before going down. That is inexcusable from Heroic. Now down 4 versus 3. Borup can equalize, but utility will have to be expended to actually still make their contact in. And Stiko's got a gap in the smoke to work around with. Now, whether or not it works in his favor is to be seen, as Borup will see the foot right as it lingers forward. Takes him down. 2 versus 3. Farlig on the AWP yet to strike in, and true means that Heroic, well, they might have dodged a bullet, and indeed they have. Borup gets his 3rd kill of the round, and his Crystal all on his lonesome. Peeks out, drops the bomb, 35 seconds, has a chance to go for more, but needs to wide swing here, and Caden will intercept.
Really nice effort there from Crystal. I actually thought he was going to pull that one off because he had isolated duels ahead of him, and that first kill, very, very sharp, but ultimately too tall a task. It's interesting that that we see that outside control from Heroic as soon as they lose that lurking player in niko. Yeah. I imagine if he'd gotten down safely, then they just wrapped towards the B bomb site. No problems whatsoever. Good on-the-fly reaction from Heroic. Cadian, though, with the AWP, will start things off. Of course, it is against pistols here from GODSENT, so it's less likely they're going to win a round like this, especially given Heroic's track record in these anti-ecos. And I know we've talked about GODSENT's nuke and when they pick up these pistols as being very, I want to say star-focused, or individual focus is really what I'm trying to get at, because they don't go for gimmicky stacks, they don't set up for flash plays all too often, they just hold spots and hope that the Deegs and CZs hit.
And look, sometimes they do.
Yeah.
We definitely can't take that away from them, but it becomes a lot trickier when on the other side, you know, Heroic does have some of that good old screw you Counter-Strike, which is, you know, sort of what we're seeing over here, but not exactly. But it's the screw you Counter-Strike, which is that, you know, they'll sometimes take a peek and they say, yeah, we're just better than you. Borup peeking Farlig earlier in the gun round when he's got an AK and Farlig has an AWP. That's something like that. You know, Heroic now have kind of the confidence of champions as they almost lose another player. Stiko not quite able to execute him, though, and as he goes up the ladder, he will go down. But yeah, that individual confidence, you can see that right there. Tessus dropping down from the ladder, just spraying away into the dead body. There you go. Geneva convention be damned.
There's no need. You're 5-0 up. He's already dead. Right. Now the big question becomes, we talk about Farlig on the AWP. We have seen him get more aggressive as of late, when he is typically quite a passive AWPer, but he's so good at these close-range duels. You will be still staying a little bit further back. He has a teammate up close. That will be Zen as a secondary form of contact. And he's just there to make sure that Farlig doesn't get timinged, repositioning, looking for other picks. He can play around the smoke as well. Different set of outside smokes as well for Heroic. This actually enables them to wrap towards Mini, but that's where Zen was positioned. So easy first kill. Actually finding a second as well.
Yeah, Heroic go for this with two smokes as well. Stiko, though, nestled away in ramp corner. Good for a kill and almost a second. Now with a flashbang to fail, Farlig will also do the same with his shot and can no longer hold the angle. Backs off, waits for a flash of his teammate, and as Cadian is proceeding forward, Farlig almost goes down. Heroic still fighting it back with a 2v4, and CT side don't really have much utility, so in a battle of firepower and wits, Heroic definitely have a chance to take this one away. It doesn't help that Stown's very low, but his Molotov sure as hell will as he scopes backwards, watching for decontamination. Turns around for the sickest shot in the West, and he will go forward for the bomb plot as well. Cadian to cover, Cadian to spray, Cadian not to find anyone, and Stown will fall because of it. Cadian can't cover the decontamination route, and as his teammate falls, their chances with the round do as well.
I always get so concerned when players are hitting shots like that because you just know they are feeling it in the moment. To commit to a no-scope like that, the confidence as well to turn away. Good round for GODSENT to win, but Heroic definitely make that one scary. Oh no. Zen getting picked off early towards Mini as well.
That's a big one. Zen was so impactful in the previous round, bringing it home. And Farlig on the bright side is coming alive, but the second flick doesn't work, and he has to back off at this point. Does he? Is he re-peeking? Really? Wow.
Wow. And Heroic have fallen back as well, so it's actually a good read in the end. If not a dangerous game to play.
Very much so. Martin, though, his middle name is Danger, and he has been acquainted with death as well. Not quite his middle name, but a distant relative who he meets quite often. Farlig takes away Borup's life, and Cadian left in a 1v2. He started this round, and now he is in an attempt to finish. But with Farlig coming in from behind, things will be a little bit more difficult. Cadian makes his way down the fence. Do they realize that it doesn't really look like it is the case? Stiko and company, they know there's also 50 seconds left, so they can't really overcommit. And with the squeaky door of decontamination being open, that's that. Cadian waits for them to make their way over. Rotation's coming through, but they're from behind. Does he realize it? Yes, he does. Turns around. Good flick, but second peek from Stiko will secure the kill. GODSENT get it away with very, very little saved up in this round.
Yeah, one player staying over. At least GODSENT play that 2v1 rather smartly because, of course, they double up. You can see Cadian was still so worried about the ramp rotation, the potential for a split coming through. And they make sure that only one player makes any audio. So Cadian still has to keep that in the back of his mind. Faster play here from Heroic. They're collapsing on this A site quickly, and Martin's dropped in an instant. The SMG is tracking him down. Crystal as well, forced off of his angle. They'll have to play for retake. And sure, they have some utility to do so. They have kits as well, but they have to make sure they don't bleed out on their manpower because Cadian's found another. This actually may be a call to save now.
I mean, it has to be. After you only kept one player alive in the previous one, there's no way you can take this away. Now, on the bright side, well, not really quite the bright side, but the silver lining is that your loss bonus is still quite high. So you should have a buy in the next round as long as you can save at least 2 of these weapons, if not all 3 preferably. But that's just a big change of pace from Heroic that GODSENT just isn't expecting. The Mach 10 taking down Martin over there with a great flashbang to go with. It's completely different to how they've been taking contact with Squeaky so far. I mean, the closest we saw them, getting was Cadian just taking a peek through and getting a kill. Have you noticed that the second set of outside smokes that Heroic throws, it's very different to how other teams throw them. Heroic throws it with 2 smokes instead of 3. It leaves a big gap in the middle, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I mean, I'll imagine the gap isn't something that is intentional.
It's not possible to throw with, 2 without leaving a gap.
Okay,
see this
again. Yeah, they've done it once again. Maybe it's something... Okay, I was going to say maybe it's not by design, but... Seems like something they're factoring in. They talk about it. There's a third smoke that's thrown just to create that firm wall, and they creep their way down towards Secret. There's nobody within earshot immediately to hear that, so Zen may be none the wiser, but now they're making steps. They're collapsing on this B-bomb site. They've got a fast rotation available for GODSENT. Stiko getting away with 1 kill. The second as well, as they're not quite prepared for it. And Farlig as well, showing his hand with the AWP. A much cleaner looking round here for GODSENT. And Heroic, that outside take, yeah, that gap is a bit of an issue because it slows them down, and GODSENT were already prepared.
Yeah, you can see Stiko already having basically placed himself in a perfect off angle. Stown's good for 1. Damage is important, and he knows it as well. Keith on crouching forward, but Martin with the MP9 shows us why that is the strongest gun in the game. But yeah, Stiko was already prepared with an off angle, and sure he gets flashed up, but he's able to get a kill in the first one, and after that, it's just subsequent kills. There you go. With those 2 kills, he's able to secure Farlig a much more stable position, where Farlig knows that just a single frag will seal the deal. Heroic will let GODSENT have a third, but let's not forget GODSENT ideally would like to win all 6 rounds at this point.
All right, this is the wall of smokes. I think somebody just wasn't throwing one of the smokes all in all. Great shot from Zen.
Might just go for more, as a spray through the smoke would really help them out, but apparently GODSENT don't want to reveal their positions. This is one thing about this wall of smokes, is that it makes it so risky to spray through, because the player next to Mini can just pop right out and peekaboo you down. So I guess that is one small advantage that you have with these as well.
They've called the same thing here from Heroic, just faster. To make sure that they make use of the wall of smokes a little bit quicker, and that means that Stiko cannot get that forward position. It doesn't matter, though. He gets the kill anyway, even though Borb seemed to get the drop on him, getting away with 40 HP, and Heroic have cancelled here. They're doubling back, trying to take control where they can, but they're losing a lot of these fights. Long-range spray from niko. Zen should be able to trade. No, niko actually dodging that one, too. So a lot more competitive. And oh dear.
Sounds actually made it very competitive. It's a 2v2 all over again. They've got a bomb, they've got a Molotov as well. Molly will clear out heaven, but Farlig on the one angle they didn't quite check. He's able to get the quick kill. niko in hot pursuit of the Vents player is unable to connect, and Heroic, although they make it close and competitive, will still allow GODSENT the fourth. Now GODSENT over here, I like how Zen's playing on outside. He's been significantly more impactful in the past few rounds, but you do expect to see Heroic now maybe go for a bit of an adjustment. And this is where what I'm more curious about is, do GODSENT maybe try and get a bit aggressive into lobby, into ramp, get a bit more control and have Zen play more passively? Because they're definitely going to ramp this round. And Stiko's ready to intercept, but can't quite get any kills off the back of it.
Yeah, wrapping towards hell. They're trying to pressure this off out of Farlig's hands. Switching to the USP, very good decision to make, and eventually Stalm will get his hands on that coveted AWP and finds a secondary frag as well off the back of it. GODSENT need to be very careful this doesn't start to snowball out of control, because Stalm is really hunting for frags here. So it'll be a timing game. Martin still so concerned about a Vents dive, a flank at that. Not sure that they spotted all of the players here from Heroic. And you can see they're turtling. They're holding on to a little information they have.
Yeah, this is going to be really important for them as well, because it's not just holding on to information, it's holding on to weaponry. Caden picks up that gun. 45 seconds as well. Losing this many players early on, that is criminal. And now in a 2 versus 2, Crystal's positioning. Well, he's not checking for heaven, and right as he does, he sees the head. The timing works in his favor, but it doesn't guarantee them the round even now. Stown proceeds forward, and he gets the shot, pulls out the Glock, will be able to continue the kill as well. Bomb can be planted, but will it be so? Stown instead, perhaps just expecting Crystal to rotate in. But with 10 seconds on the clock, he knows it is his prerogative to make a move. Crystal, here's the bomb being planted, and in he drops down. Will back off immediately, play around the double doors, and he will have the shot. Beautiful stuff, as he is just impeccable in that round. 4 kills to his name, and every single one of them a beauty.
And it is an eco. No armor brought up around the pistols in from Heroic, and Stown does it all. You can see how hungry he was for that round as well. As soon as he gets his hands on the AWP, he doesn't stop moving, trying to track down GODSENT players. And you can see what it's done to that CT side economy. SMGs and Deegs to try and contain Heroic at 7.
And let's not forget, containing Heroic at 7 might not be enough anyway. Their CT side hasn't even begun yet. This is a terrorist side that is just taking over. Perfectly so. GODSENT. They've got Zen on outside, who's found a lot of success, but with the MP9, not the most favored weapon. Heroic are setting up for an outside take as well, so Zen's about to be as tested as can be. And the question then comes in, Are they going to be throwing flashes over to try and get him aggressive, or are they just going to turtle up? The utility being as low as it is means that the former is even risky, and as they drop down and take full control, there's no one to contest at all beyond just sprays through smokes and down. Takes away Crystal's life. Now they're trying to get aggressive inside the lobby, but there's no one to find. GODSENT at every single step of the way are being read. Oh. They're being found. They're being decimated. No map control. Not even sight lines on their opponents most of the time. And how are they going to really recover this? niko creeps in. Smoke is there.
Bomb site's free.
Still... Yeah, that's the problem. This is worst possible scenario. Martin gets one short, but it will not matter.
Yeah, and you just have to save here if you're Martin. Every reaction that GODSENT were trying to go for, given how much space that they were losing outside, and the unwillingness to take that fight at long range, given that they have MP9s primarily, you can understand the decision-making there from GODSENT. But losing weapons here for Heroic does have its implications. Of course, they're trying to get this AK out of Martin's hands, but overcommitting to this can be dangerous, but only losing the couple of players. Yeah, GODSENT just have no real control, and so they have to fight for lobby instead because the MP9 better at those angles. You can get the Deke to be a lot more effective, treating it as this two-punch machine.
And
but Heroic read into it fantastically.
With MP9s either.
Yeah.
Now, it's not even MP9s. It's not even Deagles across the board. It's just one Deagle, there's a CZ, and Heroic, they're ready to exploit the hell out of this. GODSENT, if there's anything that'll really be punching their confidence in the gut, it'll be a map against Heroic where they are doing this on the terrorist side. niko starts off very nicely. Will take apart Stiko, and Zen should be next to fall. He's already been tagged up very heavily as he retreats backwards. Heroic and company. Well, Michael, there's very little that GODSENT can do to bring them back over here. It's such a difficult game to come back to, and this one last round that they'll have in the next one, this one last gun round, that's what seals their fate for the entire game, or so it seems.
Yeah, they'll still be able to get one more buy-in, but a 9th round for Heroic is, like you said, maybe a little bit too much of a task when they end up on the second half.
No, I mean, the next round is their last gun round. I mean, otherwise it's just 11-4.
Gotcha.
And even that, dude, money's horrible.
Yeah.
It's all up.
We have been praising Farlick for his rifle as of late.
Yeah, we have.
We'd much prefer him on the AWP, especially on CT side, but we have been praising his rifle. Yeah. Well, they're definitely going to need that praise to show some substance.
Really? Is that all it takes? I believe in you, GODSENT. You're amazing. Are they going to win the round now? Let's see. Let's see. Michael said it, guys.
Basically me in chat when I'm watching CS games.
Yeah. It's a Tinkerbell effect. Just clap really hard and hopefully they'll be the ones to clap their opponents. niko, because that's what Tinkerbell did. Yeah, clap their opponents. Martin has already been tagged up, but Borup and company, they've been given free control over ramp, and with the Molotov and Flashbang being there, Farlig has to retreat as well. Zen's fallen, and that's a huge kill. He was trying to get tricky from Secret, but niko, this time, he gets the better of him.
Oh, a couple 1-for-1 exchanges, but Heroic still having the man advantage. Cadian eliminating space. It's really going to come down to Farlig's position. He's making some noise as well, so niko should be aware that that's going to be a flank, but Farlig still bests him in the duel. Brings it closer. They have a kit, a smoke as well, so some of these post plants that Heroic have set up into may not even be the best because of that utility. Crystal trying to lead the way.
Well, Crystal has already lost one of his teammates, and it seems like maybe a save would have been a better choice, but Farlig doesn't even have that opportunity over here. Cadian slow peeks forward, and 10th round on the board for Heroic. They are dismantling them, and GODSENT, they've just had their wings plucked, and they no longer quite think about.
And it has to be a scrappy buy for the last round of the half. GODSENT can you at least get 5? Because that 11-4 scoreline is looking oh so tantalizing for Heroic. A little bit more outside control. This time, slightly different. I think that was supposed to be a smoke towards main. Yeah, I don't think that's quite where they intended it.
Borup, though, he's already had niko take down Zen. That's been a duel going the other way for quite a while now. And niko, he's been coming alive with a few kills here and there. Seems like pretty much all of Heroic have. Stan's had his moments. niko's had his moments. I guess Tessus and Kaden are the only one who haven't really been lights out. But you don't really need to be lights out when the rest of your team's doing as well as they are. Martin, the 10-14 in hand. Waiting to see what he can really find. No one's pushing into him, though. Heroic are so cautious, and Martin's forced to make the move, but he's good for the kill. Stiko and has the one across the map, and suddenly things are possible. Martin, though, traded away. Tessus, I said he hasn't had a chance to shine, but maybe it's his time to turn off the sun. Stiko waits for them to come in. Deagle at the ready. They're checking the angle, but it's not good enough. Stiko, so fantastic on the Deagle, and he's done it all. 5th round secured, courtesy of the man.
It was going to be a hard one to clear for Heroic. So they do muster together 5. Now moving into the second half, of course, Heroic have a significant advantage. A lot more hinging on this pistol, as you would typically expect. We'll see if they can get it over the line. A couple of flashes here for GODSENT, a smoke as well. Heroic already making a fast rotation down the vents, as they have nobody really peering for outside control. Borup's only periodically peering in for it. And that smoke will begin to give up what some of the plan is.
Well, Caden's position was good, but he lets go of it a bit too early, perhaps expecting them to face into him. It's down, tagged up just a little bit early on, but he will be finished by Stiko, the one who stole away the previous. 5v4, niko and Ooh, actually, GODSENT, they've thrown a little bit of an interesting state of affairs. Borup will fall as well. Suddenly, this becomes a nearly impossible retake without a kit or a flashbang. Farlig is ready to take over Secret. There's no way the player gets past him, and with the P250 missing a few shots, it got dicey, but even so, Farlig good for the kill, and now Kaden has to deal.
Yeah, he moves away from one P250 straight to another. Zen ultimately finding that frag. I'll test this if he gets away with full healthy armor. It bodes well, because you expect Heroic to buy up in that second round. Does he actually get checked? Okay, Tess is actually finding the kill. Jumping Crystal. He could have converted the teammates, but Tessus is making this a little bit more dangerous. Just in terms of limiting the upgradability of that armor for the T side, it does have its economic implications.
Yeah. Also, he can just drop over a scout as well, because he already has scout plus. So a deagle on him. Scout dropped over. Utilities now have with the $600 extra. That's actually quite important, because Caden and his scout can sometimes come alive. And it's not quite Circin, it's not quite Chris J, but hey, still can make it work.
Oh yeah.
Is that Molly from a CT side to deny the smoke? That's a very expensive luxury to be using when you're on a 4-spy round.
Hey, but a big gap in a wall of smokes could be all you need. Kaden firing off a couple shots with the scout. They're wrapping quickly for niko. Down and Borup there to trade things out, but ultimately collapsed on. Too much firepower for GODSENT, and they're cut out from the site. So Kaden, yeah, quick call to save. Tessus as well will join him shortly. Good couple rounds in a row here for GODSENT.
That got very dangerous for a second, though. Borup could have really done a lot more damage. He flails about too much with the deagle. Unfortunately, can't quite pluck players out of thin air like Stiko did earlier. But GODSENT definitely playing with fire. Heroic will concede the 7th round to GODSENT of ahead. GODSENT, fantastic set of affairs from the pistol run and the anti-4-spy. So could be the makings of a comeback, but we'll still have to hold our horses for the first gun round at least.
I will say GODSENT look a lot more composed, playing far more together when they're taking outside control. Sometimes we do see them default for the early period, then commit to something later, but then you'll have these lingering presences towards lobby or ramp that aren't really a part of any real collapse. I'm sure that is important to make sure that there's no CT side reaction, but it seems to be a lot more well-timed here from GODSENT. See if that keeps up throughout the remainder of the half. Zen only on a P250. Expect him to dart and dive about, but he's got the bomb, so maybe dissuaded from doing so.
Where does that nade go to is a big question for me. And, well, I'm sure we'll have it answered soon enough. Down and company all playing around the lobby. Farlig takes the elevator up to the second floor, well, first floor, I guess, if you're European. And he'll wait for that. Elevator floors always confuse me whenever I went to Europe. This is like, okay, why do you have to call it a ground floor, guys? But no, it's all good. Done. 10 to 7, and in they go. Martin gets the first ball. It connects with the second. Easy enough frags for them, and it will just be the quickest cleanup you've ever seen. Borup can't find anything either, despite there being a few low players, and that'll be that 8th round on the board for GODSENT.
Yeah, we see a spam as well through towards the hut position. Of course, clearing out the Tetris or triple box. Makes things a whole lot easier, especially when they don't have armor. Like you said, the full buy. KD now on the AWP, we know how influential he can be, and he takes a lot of ownership on the CT sides as well, being very proactive. I will say, though, in the GODSENT default, I see teams do this all the time. It's just a pet peeve of mine, but moving up the ladder in lobby is such a dangerous timing to open yourself up to. If you're going to go on that elevated angle, just do it from up high instead.
Well, I mean, there are pros for it, I suppose, but it's absolutely a place where you can get caught off easily. It's generally nice just to have someone watching over the angle, so at least it's a one-for-one trade at worst. But yeah, heroic utilities low. They'll have to rely on firepower, and Borup's good for it's down as well with a quick kill. Borup still preventing them from getting into Squeaky Door as he peeks forward, and he knows that they've turned around and gone back to ramp where there is yet another player lying in wait. niko, such a threat continually, and he will continue to do just that. Sprays them down, and with Cadian's assistance, finishes a perfect round on Heroic's board. All 5 players kept alive. All of them went for AUGs. They went for M4s. They went for an AWP. So not even an MP9 save forward, and now they get full utility. Beautiful stuff from Heroic.
Did we see ever a clean round from GODSENT where everybody stayed alive? I don't think so.
Not the eco, the first pistol round. On the T side. They kept 5 players alive.
Well, that hardly counts. Well, no, they died to Tessus.
No.
Oh, no, that was second
Oh,
pistol.
that was after.
Yeah. Well, either way.
They did actually lose players, never mind. They won the round, but like by the time it finished, the last guy got a few kills. Yeah, you're right.
Eric, looking good. That economic benefit that comes with keeping everybody alive. Gonna create that little buffer. I like the smoke here from GODSENT, though. niko denied information as they do set themselves up on the side low. They're looking to take some main control. Seems like Stown pushing past the smoke does catch Madden off guard, and he's able to escape as a result of the smoke as well.
Well, niko! Oh no, niko. Doesn't quite turn around in time. I think he's playing on 4-3. Otherwise, would have definitely seen the player out of the corner of his eye, but 3 versus 4 as a result of that, and although Crystal is low, he still can stay in the back and see what he can find. Zen, good for 1, going for more, but doesn't expect the angle from Stown. And now it's just him and Cadian. Cadian playing from inside the lobby. The bomb is on the other side of that wall. Stiko proceeds forward and he's cut off Cadian's head. With that, it's a 1v1 and Stown is incredibly low. He has to go for the ace clutch if he wants to win this. And even there, honestly, could just save the AWP, and I wouldn't hate him for it.
He is here quickly, though. Oh, the spam.
Oh! This could go either way so easily. Stiko walking around the smoke, and in the reload, Stown is cut off. Oh, dear. It always is that pesky reload. Gives away such a big sound cue as well. Stiko wouldn't feel confident.
Yeah, not only that as well, he's just jiggle peeking the angle to make sure that Stiko doesn't somehow find a timing, sneak his way around. That's what gives up the game. Denied the ace clutch. Such a great performance from Stown as well. Dipping and darting out of fights, though he loses teammates along the way. But there's that impact. The fact they had that clean round, they can reinvest into this for Heroic. And that's a very costly one at that for GODSENT. So this is a swing round.
Well, Caden swung Stiko from a little bit of a tree over there as he pushes through. GODSENT's own utility is fairly limited as well, so if they want to go for a late side hit later on, it'll be difficult, but Crystal, faced off versus too many players, will lose his life as well. Back down to a 4 versus 3, but they do lose control over Garage because of it, and that could come back to bite them. Now, Tessis is repositioning because of it. He's holding a very tight little angle next to the generator before deciding to drop back down to the locker room. Martin inside the side already. They weren't expecting it. He'd walked all the way through Squeaky, and Borup is eliminated. Now, 3v3, and Martin is expecting Cadian, but not quite the right place to put his crosshair at. Now, the T side has been detected. Molotov in vents will secure them forward, and Zen's found the equalizer.
Cadian was siphoned off by the Molotov for just a few seconds, and ooh, the position here from Farlig. Around the other side of the door. This does get cleared, but can be often overlooked. Oh, Farlig actually committing to the swing off of no information, no sound cues made. Zen now left to clutch. 34 HP, they're doubling up together as well. He has positioned himself in an off angle. They may not clear. Up and down he'll go. Zen the first, the second as well. Zen, what a clutch to pull off on such low health and bailing GODSENT out of a really tricky situation.
And that's why coldzera loves that angle. He used it against GODSENT in the DreamHack Open as well to a lot of great use. And I like that Zen himself has picked that one up for his own clutch round in the 1v2. It's so difficult to cater to as well. And Heroic, although you're thinking, yeah, they're swinging out 2 players at a time, that should be easy enough. Seeing the head pop up is very difficult. There's a reason why whack-a-mole is a little bit hard. And now GODSENT, they're up to 10 rounds. Heroic as well, with their money being where it is, unless they're able to pull off a second eco miracle. This should be the equalizer. GODSENT, this is why I said you don't want to pick NUKE against them. They can do so much, and Martin right now, playing from where Stiko generally can be found, has made A side his stomping grounds. Watches for them pushing inwards. Flashbang there as well. It'll be helping him out just a little bit, and GODSENT have read this perfectly, and with a nade from Stiko, they're up 4 versus 2.
Well, 4 versus 1 now. It's down. Sees his teammate get executed in his peripheral vision. Not a good sign. But an equalizing round. Very, very likely. That 0.1% chance. You know, I still have my doubts, but there's no real issues.
I think B250.
I think Mouse's analyst, actually, he made a blog post recently where he discusses the top 5 hardest teams to prepare against. He lists GODSENT as one of them because they are so sporadic, so unpredictable based on them changing not only who wields the AWP, but how they rotate around the map in the mid-round. A lot of that comes down to feel or how what information that players feel like they're getting at their specific spots. It makes them so hard to predict.
I mean, there's also another factor, which is that GODSENT do not get invited to as many tournaments. And they have a real in-game leader, so they can really prep. Now, I'll hold that thought as Nico's waiting for them to maybe peek out into him. Not sure if they quite heard him being tagged up, and as he gets on top of the red container, he will be found. Zen to take him down. Farlig now inside the side as he goes aggressively forward. Borup, good for the kill, but his HP is basically non-existent, and he will be falling soon enough. But Cadian, in the meanwhile, has already found one, and the rest of the team has come through to back up the ace side. Seiko, left alone, 1v4, makes it 3. But can he make it all the way through? The player on the rafters, he's not going to check it. Tessis finishes them off. GODSENT.
We have to highlight, especially on Nuke, you look at the heavy utility maps, because you're going to be skimping out a little bit on your nade set, you may have to play the round out slightly faster, try and take control earlier without having to expend as much utility. See if that does turn out to be the case, or whether GODSENT continue with this these different setups in the early round, but still working the map rather slowly. See Crystal just out with the deagle by himself.
Oh, Stiko, beautiful entry as well, and with that, Modern finds a second. It's down to 4, Stiko now all the way through to hell, waits for the peek for in. The Molotov obscures his vision for just a second, but he's good for it regardless. 5 versus 2 now. And Heroic has to say, there's no way they get anything done over here, and you're right. The faster pace play is what catches Heroic with their pants down. I don't think they had a correct read on their economy, actually. Borup creeps through, Crystal falls short, but that's the most expendable player on your team. That's the only guy who doesn't have a rifle. You trade him for information of one of the remaining 2 players? Hell yes, absolutely. At least that's what I tell myself every time I die.
It's like, I've got info, I've created space.
Yeah.
Go, take A, quick.
The good old Dota ways. But even so, this is really important. Now, Borup, him getting even a single kill over here is nice to have. Let's not make any mistake about it. GODSENT, although they're doing really well, they're still far behind as far as the, really cushy place of having $10K dollars across the board is. So, economy is important. Let's not take anything away from that. But I wanted to quickly add something to your point, Michael, where you were talking about how hard it is to prepare for GODSENT. Let's not forget that Crystal has taken several different lineups to majors. He's taken several different lineups to top 20. Crystal was the guy who was with Valiant, now Contact, when they entered the top 20, when they were winning their DreamHack Opens before Esperanto wanted him out. Crystal's been in so many different lineups and so many different styles that you know for sure, you give this guy a week and a half, he'll have an entirely new playbook on a map. So how are you ever going to prepare against that? It's just not possible.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Now it's a little bit more difficult to call as to which way this one goes. GODSENT riding a wave of momentum. Stiko looking for frags, and he's taken Tessus down to very low HP. This creates some space. It forces a rotation out as well, and Stiko happy to capitalize on it.
As huge, Stiko can destroy the CT signs whenever he makes his way all the way through to hell. It's so likely, and Crystal, as he gets information of the midi play, he should know that the A bomb site probably doesn't quite have someone in heaven, but that could be a bad call. There's 2 players waiting for the push from Stiko to come in. Stiko, unless he hard clears these angles very slowly, should be overrun by them. But does he actually creep forward? Heroic, this is the ultimate game of chicken. Who clocks first? And Stiko's waiting for some backup to come in before he can really go in. And oh, they're going to be peeking forward into 2 players. Martin's already found the first as well. And with this, the Molotov can't delay them long enough. Cadian will fall next. And although he's able to get a kill from beyond the grave, it's Tessus who's next to descend into the grave with him. 4 versus 2. And GODSENT, for the first time in this entire game, at the most crucial of points, will be up in rounds 13 to 12. This is the 2-0 possibility I was talking about.
Absolutely. And we talked a little bit about how they were maybe sometimes missing Zen, Stiko. They're right up top alongside pretty much everybody from GODSENT is contributing, which is what's the crazy thing. And even though Stiko doesn't find a kill in this round, he is the most influential player in deciding how this round plays out, because Heroic not only lose ramp control so early that GODSENT just sit and wait for Heroic to look for information, because do GODSENT just wait all of that time? Do they start making their way towards the lower bomb site? Those are things that Heroic need to know, and especially in a 5-on-5, you cannot hope to just hold on to your bomb sites in the late round when GODSENT are likely setting up for an execute. So they go, look for information towards hell, and it's a trap.
No, I absolutely love this, and I think it's really important that you're pointing out that Stiko and Zen are doing as well as they are, because traditionally these 2 players, when they were at their peak on Nuke, were the highest fraggers. But right now the addition is that, generally speaking, on Nuke, whenever GODSENT would do well, Modern wouldn't be alive. Modern's top fragging with 21. So this is the worst possible GODSENT to go up against if you're Heroic right now. And now outside, where there's this much pressure, there's 2 players already waiting inside Secret. Question is, though, and always will be, Do they go into secret? Testis on the P250, awkward angle as any, but he'll be cleared out, but still wins the deal. Crystal taken down, AK is recoverable without exposing him to anyone else, and he will be able to pick it up as he moves forward. So a bit more firepower and suddenly a lot more rest for the GODSENT side, but Stiko quick to trade and equalize down, taking the duel and will win it. Stiko to fall soon after, and it's a 4 versus 3.
And they're trying to contain them towards outside where possible. Fast rotations available towards B as well if GODSENT had made their way down towards secret, but they're wrapping. niko very prepared for this. A deep angle to clear. First duel should be good. The second may be harder to line up. As they go for the double swing, he actually does so much damage on the secondary player, but Zen brings it back to a 1-on-2. Those 2 kills are crucial, giving him room. And now, if he gets himself onto this bomb site rapidly, he can set up into a post plant that may be difficult to find here for Heroic. We saw Zen bail them out in a 1v2 previously. Maybe he can get it done again. Oh no, Tess is spamming him down through the smoke. Not going to be allowed the chance.
GODSENT will... that's a rough round to lose to Heroic. It all comes off the back of Testis initially finding the AK-47 as well. The P250 just getting a quick kill from an off angle. And that's one of the reasons why I always am a little bit hesitant to have Crystal be the player who's lurking forward to secret, which he loves to do. He can be very good at finding information, but sometimes the aim just doesn't go his way. And look, that's a crazy off angle. You're never checking that in all fairness. But that is also where you get punished. So, it's down. Now has to just wait for the terrorist sign, rather, to make their move. And the T's, they're setting up for outside smokes later on, I believe. Are they? No. Wow, okay. I thought they would. But they actually decide to walk directly in.
Oh
and
my
Stiko's
goodness.
found 2 from Squeaky. Crystal was the 3rd. The sudden contact is working out wonders for them. 5 versus 2 in Tessis and niko. Welcome to save territory, I guess.
Yeah, no money really left on a few of the players on Heroic. So it has to be a 5-on-2. At the very start of the round as well. And this is something we typically praise Heroic for changing things up, you know, throwing a few more dynamic plays on the CT side, because being stagnant, especially when you've got a firm IGL, like you said on Crystal, yep, that can really play into their hands. But they try and do something slightly different. You can see them postured up over at the door. We just see the corpses. We didn't see the frags. But Stiko's in a great spot. Whether or not he consistently gets 2 in that position, that can be thrown into a bit more question. But so much impact being found by Stiko, particularly on this T side, and GODSENT again will find themselves in a lead.
If you're Heroic right now, all you're thinking is, how the hell do we get out of this bad situation? And I think Borup in particular has quieted down so much. On the terrorist side, Borup was fantastic. Borup, yeah, I believe, started off like, what, 8-0-0? Was that Borup? Or was that niko?
That was niko.
Okay, but Borup was still doing really well initially, getting some great entry frags, doing some great stuff. Now he's 13 and 19. He's quieted down like nothing else. Testis as well hasn't had the best of games. It really has been Stown and niko who've been carrying the show, and even niko, well, he's kind of like a fading actor. He's in his twilight years at this point, but Stiko, maybe he can be the one to take all the fame, all the glory for himself, make a comeback in his career.
Oh, we'll see how prepared Heroic are for this. Borup on top of the hut. Molotov out of position. Good jump away, though. He's going to be a bit of a nuisance now, collapsing towards that A site, but it's a fake. Testis receiving a lot of pressure towards ramp, and he finds a secondary kill on Farlig on the Molotov alone. This has not gone to plan here for GODSENT. They can't flush Testis out, and Borup hot on their heels. He's containing them, boxing them in, and they fight now for control. A 2-on-4 from this position after they tried to go for the execute. Not how GODSENT had drawn it up, but Heroic read into it well.
Zen gets an angle, but not the kill. It all comes down to Martin and what he can get done in this situation. Stown's coming in from behind, though, and Martin might not expect it, but he moves past right at that instant. And Martin, beautiful stuff. The first headshot will allow them the bomb plant. With this, Stown He can't really help out until it's too late. Modern sees him as well. Now that his position's given away, things are much more dicey. CTs will try to congregate. They do have some offensive utility on down. Question is, how do they want to use it? The player from Vents has rotated back to Secret, and over he goes. niko will now be proceeding forward. Modern expecting this in outside mini. He gets the duels down to 4, and as the secondary player will fall down as well, Zen will have heard him. Zen misses the shot though. That's everything. That's it gone. He doesn't have the bomb planted for him. Grenade will not matter. Modern peeks out. Modern to fall as well. One missed shot. That one missed shot is all it takes. Heroic. A 4v2 that should have been easy, but honestly, it's GODSENT who gives that round away.
You could see the opportunity right there, and you're right. That round hinging on that one missed op shot. I won't harp on it for too long because I'm sure that may haunt them if this goes to an overtime or Heroic take this game. Good fast play here from Crystal, but niko spams him down. He's been going for these more individual plays. This time he has his team behind him, but they're not in a place to trade, and niko has done one better. A secondary kill, all the meanwhile Cadian's applying pressure. This is a very deflated GODSENT. The round just after losing a potential clutch comeback. niko now left in a 1-on-5.
Heroic. Good old plot armor comes in. And they played this round out beautifully. They really counteracted GODSENT, and it looked like GODSENT did somewhat go into autopilot for this one. Would have loved to see a timeout come through before the round really proceeded. But it is just going to be a save from niko. Loss bonus nearly non-existent. No bomb plan either. This is going to be a very rough last round for GODSENT. And I hate to say it, but it might very much be their last round for the map.
God, and it's been so close. There have been some big wins for Heroic. We saw them win off of pistols when they were on the T side. We saw GODSENT getting bailed out in a 1-on-2 from Zen. And they almost pulled off the 2 versus 4. But it's just not to be. Heroic, that protagonist, you're right, the plot armor. Just when they meet a bit of difficulties and they're hunting for niko. He may die after time here as well. Oh dear, he has to tuck himself away. Surely not. They're trying really desperately, and there is worst case scenario. $350 in pocket for niko. Buy a P250, buy a smoke. That's all you got.
Mate, go buy yourself a Big Mac because you need some comfort food after that one.
Oh dear.
Heroic. Up to 15. They may have had to go a bit too close, but it seems like they are ready to execute. But there's still one final hurdle. There's still one final set of GODSENT players that can walk past and walk through. And we know this can be the hardest point. Sometimes teams can just capitulate. Sometimes teams can fold. Cadian, though, sees the players crossing over. And with this, they will now rotate back down to lower. Modern, the only one with an AK-47, the one on whom all the hopes lie. Minute and 12, Heroic not getting aggressive, and that's really what niko was hoping for outside of Squeaky. Molotov used, and the only utility they have left is a smoke on Farlig. Heroic themselves are somewhat shy of full utility as well, so this is very much going to be a good old-fashioned firepower battle, and Tessus is about to be acquainted with a lot of them, but not before Stown takes contact, and Tessus will now aggress forward, but Zen's brought him down. Stown as well. He's running out of bullets. He pulls out the pistol, but Farlig will get the kill and the advantage with it. Modern, 2 HP, sure, but that's still 2 HP too many for the side of Heroic. Zen waiting for the peak to come through. His angle is perfect. No one ever pre-fires this, and if they do, then, well, I'm just wrong. Heroic, the bomb's not planted yet. But Zen's pushing forward. He wants to get aggressive. He's caught the player out with the smoke. He will be trying to bait the shot. Succeeds in that as well. Zen's taking him down. Now a 3v2. Borup and niko. They don't have time on the T side, and that's what they're trying to take advantage of. niko finds the kill, but he's traded away. Borup gets another. He's in a 1v1. Bomb can be planted. Farlig will have it in time. And now it all comes down to this. 17 HP on the CT player. Farlig waits for this. He's up onto the rafters, and they're not going to be expecting where the CT is coming from. But Farlig, positioning is perfect. Door is closed as well. There's no way Borup checks this angle immediately, and immediately you see Farlig taking it to overtime. And turns out plot armor isn't real. For Heroics, not quite in that fantasy. And GODSENT are...
And those are the rounds that GODSENT, somehow or another, top teams or not, they take these scrappy buys so consistently. It is a dicey one. It comes down to a one-on-one. They had the B bomb site for so long, and they never got the bomb planted. Okay, what is that from Crystal? Straight to the overtime. He spammed one through a smoke. Fortunately for Heroic, they still have some presence outside, so Stown can keep things contained. Does he get cleared at this angle? Oh, they're leaving him, and he's letting them pass initially. He's lining up more than one frag. 2 kills in from Stown. They collapse, and that is a shutdown outside from Heroic. Straight into the overtime. Stiko left to clutch.
Stiko left. He just left the server. Yeah.
Woo. What a good, comfortable read there for Heroic. Sure, they lose that first player, but they keep cool-headed. They don't overface. They don't overspray. And that is just a shutout. GODSENT. Go elsewhere. Don't take outside.
I also love how Stown, after getting the first kill, he looks to his right instead of his left because he knows there's still one player to go who's likely going to be coming in from behind, and that's how he secures a 3K. Otherwise, it would have just been 2, and you really don't know what you're in for from that point. But Stiko finds a kill, so does Modern, and GODSENT says, you know what, you fight us, we'll fight you right back. Blow for blow, swing for swing, and Heroic, they are still falling all across the board. No perfect round so far from GODSENT, but maybe this can be the first one. Borup and Tessis, 2 versus 5. Heroic, more often than not, have chosen to save in these situations. They've not been able to go for the same kind of insane clutches that GODSENT has. And now as Borup moves in, Tessis has found Modern. Borup looks to drop down immediately towards the lower bomb side, but he knows they're coming in, and Borup's got another. He's stepping up in OT and gets a lot of damage as well. Tessis to complete a 1v1. Zen on the AWP, and as he sees the player jumping right past him, the flashbang will not force him to shoot out, will not be able to bait the bullet. Bomb can be recovered. Then moves past, smokes off Mini as well, and could walk through the smoke at this point, but who's outplaying who? Tessis might not realize this, but Zen, he's still sticking around, and Zen sees a player as he peeks forward. This time he hits the shot. 16-16. 2 versus 5, and hearts are broken in the exact same fashion of the 2v4 earlier.
God, what a recovery. What a recovery there from Heroic. They lose everybody in those opening duels. It comes to a 2-on-5. They bring it to the clutch. It had to be Zen hitting that shot. Jeez, it is so, so close between these two teams. Either of them can run away with a round.
Let's not forget, Heroic's the #1 team in the world with an 85% win rate on NUKE, but they haven't faced Farlig yet, or Stiko. There's no way you're getting past these 2 big bad boys. And niko,
God,
he's been tagged up, forced back. Zen to finish him off with a Molotov, and that's it. There you have it, 17-16. Heroic, #1 team in the world, 17-3.
Oh my God.
In their overall record, 85% win rate. And GODSENT's kind of walking over them right now. I wonder about walking over them a bit much, but still, definitely much more competitive than Heroic thought it would be.
Yeah, they pick into this map. Full confidence, even knowing that it's a good map for GODSENT.
Even knowing that Vertigo should be an auto win for them.
Yeah. And this is the scary thing, right? We talked about how GODSENT just need these players to activate. They have come to play.
Yep. Farlig initially tagged up pretty heavily, though. So they'll be limiting his mobility somewhat. Zen moves through the smoke. He's going to be able to get in behind them. Zen! He's got a feel of this game like no one else does. But Heroic are speeding up. Stiko has to delay for Zen to be able to come over. Stiko good for one, Martin a second. But it's Zen in the back lines who's provided the space they need. Stown left alone because of it. And he's in a 1v3. Picks up the AWP. He's been good with it before. But can he get it done over here? Can he prevent GODSENT from getting to game point? Stown creeps through. Doesn't quite catch the timing, and that'll be his CTs having one more angle in their favor. They're not exposing themselves, and FARLIG to close. What a round from GODSENT. 18-16, Heroic. Now not only on the back foot, but they're facing off against game point, map point on their own map pick.
And that's something that GODSENT didn't pull out in regulation. They didn't flank through the smoke. They didn't try it. And Heroic don't honor that. They go for a faster play. They're hoping to bypass it if it even is a possibility. The Zen was just there so quickly, and Stiko did what he needed to slow them down. They are working off each other. They're throwing in a few different setups, taking a few more risks. And that may just be enough to take them over the line. Heroic, last chance.
And you can't help but root for a good underdog story, but if you're a fan of Heroic right now, then you can't be happy with how this has materialized so far. Borup. Smoke's getting ready for the triple smoke outside take. Of course, this one is more for a mini control rather than anything else. And then, I mean, we outlined on CT side how effective he was in outside, playing from outside of mini. This time, we'll have to wait to see whether it's still true. Borup stepped up in a single round of overtime so far. Can it be two? niko as well. Down towards lower. Could be troublesome to deal with, but at 45 seconds, that smoke pops. Perfect timing. niko creeps in. Zen on the other side, but he's on top of him. The question is, does he hear this? And he should. The flashbang goes out. Zen will have heard it. And he knows there's only one player there. Martin, here's the Molotov going forward. He will be peeking out sooner rather than later. He always likes to get aggressive, but maybe Heroic can get the timing over here. Martin sees the AK, and he can't get the win. Borup and Kaden take over the A-bomb side, and now it's back to a 2 versus 3. Borup is low, though, and he will fall. Stiko in the flank. Comes in, but Zen has a smoke covering off the angle. Can't quite connect through it. Stiko sees the second player. Zen will get the kill. 2v1. Kaden alone. Solo on the AWP. The in-game leader has to lead his team through to greener pastures, and he's found the first, revealing his position as he does so. So worried about where Stiko can come from. Stiko circling around. Stiko moving forward. Kaden's missed the shot. Stiko gets the kill. 19-16. GODSENT take game number 1.
The strongest map in Heroic.